Alright. We are now live, probably. And chat should update in a second. And say no longer hosting or whatever. There we go. Alright, so today's Friday, and we're going to be going back to some Legacy Death and Taxes, which is, again, what I'm going to keep playing as much as I can in the coming weeks until Eternal Weekend hits, which is the first weekend of November, I think. Which is 4 weeks away, something like that. 1, 2, 3 weeks away, Jesus. Alright. But yeah, I'm going to keep practicing for that, since that's the main event that I plan to participate in. Still not sure if I'm going to play in Vintage, but it was looking like a solid maybe. The Vintage deck was fun, and I might stream that a couple more times before Eternal Weekend as well. But I'm still playing the same 75 that I was on Monday, that I played it with the 40 duels that I played last week. I like where this deck is at right now. I'm not sure. There might be a couple minor tweaks. I was considering swapping out a Rip with like a second Surgical or something. Or maybe cutting the Macabre back for a Surgical Extraction. But then I feel like I'm making myself a little bit softer to Black-Red Reanimator, which is just the constant boogeyman of my sideboard. It would be amazing if I could just like cut a lot of the graveyard hate for a lot more interactive stuff in the matchups I feel like I'm going to see more. But you just kind of make yourself softer to some of the other decks in the format if you do that. So I kind of like where I'm sitting right now. So let's play a League of Magic. What was this? This was Monday? Yeah, this is when we got belched. And then we lost to Eldrazi? Yeah, sounds about right. Yeah, we lost to Eldrazi when my opponent definitely could have won game 2, and then we almost won game 3, even though we missed a land drop for like 6 turns. Alright, let's play some Magic. Legacy data out here. Still sitting at around 66% win rate for this deck in 181 matches, and that was 2 challenges, I think. So that's minus 12. So it's 170. Wait, 181. Oh yeah, because we discounted that one league where we conceded because some guy was 4-0 and needed to go to whatever tournament there was last week. So yeah, minus 12 would be 170 divided by 5. We played in a lot of leagues. So hopefully we can get to like over 200 matches logged before Eternal Weekend. I need to start like analyzing my data now that I actually have a reasonable amount for a lot of these matchups. I played 10 times against D&T, 10 times against Grixis, 9 times against Miracles, 8 times against Death Shadow, Reanimator, 7 times against Ant and Maverick, and then it goes down into 5s and 4s. A big part of it is that I've started recording like my pre-board versus post-board wins and losses. And it's like my pre-board wins versus Reanimator are how many times did I say I played it? 8? Yeah, I played against it 8 times. I've won exactly 1 pre-board game, but I've won 10 post-board games. Just because this is a matchup that you are not prepared to win pre-board very often, unless you have your Caracas and they don't thought seize you and take your plows and whatever. Or you can like manage out of them on a loose hand. Weirdly enough against Grixis. I guess not weirdly enough. We just don't have a lot of pre-board wins versus post-board wins versus Grixis. That data makes sense. Eesh, this hand kind of sucks. Traded 4 Ultra Temples and 3 Thought Knot for 1 Teferi. Oh yeah, I saw that. I saw that on Twitter, Kogan. Were you the recipient of the Temples and Thought Knots? Or were you the recipient of the Teferi? Well, this hand sucks. My opponent also rolled a 6, so I don't mind it. Ooh, this hand is way better. Bottoming lands, keeping most creatures on top, probably. Yeah, I think we're gonna top this. It's a fair meta. Like, if we're playing against Grixis, that's very good. I should an F6 on my turn 1 on the draw, because it lets them know I don't have Force of Will. But looks like we're against Miracles. Could be like some combo deck that just didn't have a turn 1 cantrip, but the Predator Nerf 1 Teferi rip feels bad, man. Well, I mean, at least it's like Teferi's actually eternal playable, so its price isn't gonna like plummet. They just like miss their second land drop. Oh baby, this Thalia is gonna be good. I really don't like this. You have to like click on your vial now. I don't know if it's a bug or if it was like intentional, but ever since the update on Wednesday, you have to like click on your vial to put the trigger on the stack, even if it's the only trigger going on the stack. I almost want to sandbag this to not get it forced, but it's so good if it doesn't get forced. Ooh, that's a good draw. I don't think I'm going to tap out to play this Crusader. It puts more pressure on my opponent, though. It's definitely tempting. Just, like, get as much pressure on the board as possible. Maybe I do. My opponent's, like, drawing blind. Yeah, let's cast this. Let's get a little bit greedy. I'm trying to kill my opponent before they can, like, come back from this. Yeah, they're just dead. So I don't know my opponent is on Miracles. Because, like, I don't know if my opponent keeps that hand. It was just one land Ponder. It was on a Mold of 6. Did my opponent scry to the bottom? No, they scryed to the top. What did they scry to? Oh, they scryed the Ponder to the top. Okay. That's why they didn't fetch turn 1. They must have scryed the Ponder to the top. But I don't think that Miracles would keep that hand. Am I supposed to, like, try to hedge my bets? Versus, like, a combo deck versus Miracles? Well, Shell's going to come in regardless. Could be Sneak. It could technically be Storm, but... My best friend who's trying to build bug. Oh, that's good. At least the Thought Knots and Eldritch Temple are going to a good home. So what's my sideboard against Miracles look like? This Recruiter's coming in against combo 2. So it's like Cataclysms against Miracles. Like these against Miracles, possibly the Extraction or the Macabre against combo. And like the Relic Order if it's Sneak. I don't hate bringing the Relic Order here too. If my opponent's a Miracles, it's like not the worst. You can snipe EEs if they play them, or Back to Basics. A couple other things. I just don't feel like Miracles would keep a one-lander without a cantrip, right? They just grind the Ponder to the top. Like the Flooded Strand and like a loose 6 that needs like a cantrip to work out feels like it's more of a combo deck. Although maybe they just really don't want to go 5. We're just going to look board like this. And cut. Spirit Keeper. Just cut all the plows. If they're on Marigolds, we might bring some back in, but if they're on a combo deck, we just don't want those plows anyway. And cut a Crusader. That's about right. We're kind of hedging our bets here. My sideboarding is a little anemic because I just like I'm definitely not confident what my opponent is playing. This hand seems good. If they're on a combo deck, it's not good, but I'm looking to 6 again. I think we'll just keep this and figure it out. Basic Island. So I feel like this is Miracles, in fact. Could still be Sneak. Sneak plays a lot of islands. But my opponent kept a one-lander again. That would be funny. They did Mold 6 again, right? Yeah, it's right to the bottom. Plains. Second island. Second island. Standard Highlander still a thing, or is that dead? I've never even heard that. Are you talking about like Brawl? I think they were doing standard Highlander on Arena, right? It was just like because they hadn't implemented commanders yet. Let's play a Stoneforge and grab. What did they do off the spawn? Or they did not. They shuffled, or they didn't shuffle. I think I want to grab Sword of Fire and Ice. We have like a lot of guys. If they're on a combo deck, we'd much rather have Batter Skull, just because it's more mana efficient to put like 4 power into play. But again, hedging my bets. Yeah, Brawl. I mean, people still play Brawl. It's like it died online. I think they took the leagues off of Moto. Just because competitive 1v1 Brawl seemed like kind of a shit fest. But I hear people still like play it casually. That's totally fine. I'm still like not confident. I feel like my opponent's on Miracles. That's my guess right now. But they could easily just be on Sneak. All we've seen is Ponder, Brainstorm, Flooded Stranded, Basic Island. Those are the only cards we've seen from my opponent. They're not much less likely to be on something like Storm, because I guess Storm technically plays double Basic Island, but they don't play that many off-color fetches either, because they only play like 15 lands or whatever. They play opponents disconnected. Storm will play a bunch of polluted deltas and sometimes even like a black fetch or two to fetch the basic swamp over the basic plains. And then they'll play Scalding Tarn sometimes, specifically because they want to fetch like a red source if they play a Badlands or whatever. So there's like a Volk, a Trop, or a Bayou, some combination of those three, and then like Underground and basics. Could be Sneak, could be Miracles. There's like no way for me to really tell. Except for trying to assess the hand list that they kept. One search for Iskandar, one Teferi. If your deck can destroy standard singleton. Brawl lets you have Planeswalkers as your commander, right? Is Teferi's commander like super busted? Never really thought about that. Commander Teferi seems like pretty nuts. Just play blue-white control. Gotta wait for my opponent to come back. Seems annoying. Yeah, right? I'm gonna be sad if we like beat our opponent and I don't figure out what they're on. I haven't run into that problem yet. Alright, they're back. Of like my opponent, if my opponent like conceded here, then I wouldn't know how to record where to record my data. Like we won, but I don't know what we won against. So we really want to draw here. What would be nice actually is to just like draw like a vial or something to pair with putting in a sword. Otherwise we're like burning a mana trying to put the sword into play this turn. I should get some better planes for my deck. A lot of people have like their own. They grab their own favorite basics or whatever. I've literally been using these because when I started playing, it was when I started playing Moto, it was during Hour of Devastation. That's what I bought in, so I just have a pile of these planes. So that's just what I've always used. But people like to like have their own personal planes for playing on Moto. Playing them in my Yenet. I don't even know what Yenet even does. I'm an old person when it comes to Magic cards. What does this thing do? Cryptic Sovereign. Oh, is that Sphinx? The odd Sphinx? Yeah. What's up, Henny? Are there unstable lands? I don't know. I don't know what lands are available on Moto. I feel like there wouldn't be the unlands, right? Because unsets don't get opened. Unless I like put them in chests or something. That seems a little silly. Is there just basic lands like that? Yeah. There are gonna be a lot of these. So hang on, my opponent came back. Alright, I'll check that later. What's your plan, opponent? Is their plan show and tell, or is their plan like land pass? Oh, that's pretty dope. Approach from the Second Sun. Approach is like 7 mana. There are probably a lot of cool things you could do with E in it. Alright, my opponent is having some problems. Let's go get some planes. I have some planes from like drafts and sealed, it looks like. Oh god, is my Moto crashing? I like dropping frames? Oh, no, not really. But my Moto is definitely like, oh. Now my Moto has crashed. That's pretty cool. Is Moto having problems for everybody? Is that why like my opponent disconnected? I wonder. Standard is actually sweet, is it? I never like try to believe. It's nice to cling to the hopes that Standard is sweet, but it is the first couple of weeks, so like this is just before Standard gets solved. Maybe Standard is still sweet, but I reserve my judgment until like after. All right, I think we're back in here. Slowly. Main phase is Vendilion Click. Oh, I just want to take my sword. That makes sense. So they are just miracles. Cool. Finally figured it out. We can do nothing about this. At least that makes our decision easy. We can just cast a 3-drop this turn. Oh, we were going to draw a 1-drop too. We could have went Mom, put in Sword. I think we're just going to play Flicker Wisp on my Stoneforge. Just go get the equipment again, if my opponent is so scared of it. Boop, boop. Oh, I should have attacked first. Oops. I mean, there are a lot of sweet options, but who knows how many of them are, like, super viable after the first, like, 5 weeks when people actually, like, figure out Standard. Partnered. No, I was talking with Card Hoarder about it, but I haven't been partnered yet. I have not reached the viewership threshold to be partnered. If I wanted to, I should probably stream Modern more if I wanted to get partnered, because Modern usually seems to get more viewers, but I don't care like that much. It'd be nice and convenient, but I also just enjoy playing what I have fun with rather than like aggressively trying to reach some unnecessary thresholds. Opponent is just going off with cantrips. Glad they didn't cast a Mentor last turn. It's the people's format. People do enjoy modern. What is this? I'm scared. I'm scared that this like isn't miracles. Oh, this is just E on one. Sure. I just flicker wisp that. Wait, opponent just tapped out. Just gonna... Oh no, they have haven't had a land drop yet. I'm gonna take the bait because they didn't play a land, so I still get to free eat this even if they want to plow this mom. Play some opponent just concede. What? All right, opponent not having a great day. I'm gonna assume that was miracles. They played a lot of miracles cards. Play some Thalia CEDH. I thought about it. Maybe someday on stream I'll just like stream nonsense Thalia formats. On Tuesday I streamed Vintage Death and Taxes, aka White Trash, and that was actually hilarious and fun. I missed. Yeah, I don't know what their plan was. Just like maybe they were just salty. I think they were aggressively pondering trying to hit a fourth land, and they didn't. And then they attacked with click, and then they like missed the line and just got mad and just like fuck this match, I'm out. Something like that. Actually, talking about the No Rod Zombie deck. I was playing Stony Silence and not like Soul Lands, rather than Null Rods and Eldrazi and stuff, like the Mono White Eldrazi lists. It just lower to the ground and you play a bunch of hate 2-drops and you play Spirit Guides to like just cast 2-drops on turn 1. Seems tempting. Hello, cat. What are you doing? You know? Yeah, nope, you can't go on the desk. Alright, this is fine. You can be in my lap. Opponent mulligans to 6. I hate this hand a lot more on the draw. I don't like keeping these hands on the draw. I'll keep it on the play. But this hand now suddenly, like, just eats it to Daze and Thoughtseize. And my opponent mulligan, so I don't feel as bad about it. I want land number 3, considering we have 3 drops and a 4-drop and no lands. Not the 1-drop I was expecting. We're playing against just fairies? Some guy just enter his pauper deck into the legacy queue? No, they play Gush in that deck, don't they? Do they play Gush in Delver? Fuck if I know. I don't play pauper. They have to be played Probe though. Probe's not legal in this format. So we can't have just accidentally registered his pauper deck into a legacy league. Maybe I'm just playing against legacy fairies. Gotta play around Spellstutter Spray next turn, which I will because I'm just not gonna cast a 2-drop. Hello. 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 Get out of my face, please. Alright, well, Palace Jailer seems pretty dicey if my opponent is just... Oh, Cloud of Fairies. Interesting. Palace Jailer is pretty dicey if my opponent's just on, like, mono flyers. It seems very scary to be in on a card like that. Very hard to defend the Monarchy. Alright, well, at least we can play around Spellstutter, right, by just casting... Oh, my opponent gonna, like, ninja me? Shit, they're not just playing fairies. They're playing a really weird deck. I think I'm just gonna play Crusader here. Just as a thing that will block the ninja. A plow. That'll be good next turn. I can play like a 3-drop and a plow. Depending on what my opponent does, we might slam Jailer. Opponent might like force this. I imagine Forcibles are in their deck somewhere. Daze would make sense to be in my opponent's deck, I think. We can still block the Ninja with the Mom, which I probably will. Don't want to let them draw cards. And they're mono blue, so I imagine their only removal is like bounce spells or dismembers. Play EDH stuff in Legacy. Wonder they're playing one of the new ninjas. Oh, they're on whatever Eureka, whatever that blue-black ninja is. That thing was sweet. Seems like they're on mono blue though, like pretty solidly. All right, they eventually force will this. Sure. They're down to 2 cards in hand, so I'm not super scared. I don't know what they could do, but I'm just like gonna snap block this Ninja of Deep Hours. I'll like cycle that 1 bird wizard, counter the Mom. Oh, that was it. Deal. Yeah, my opponent has 3 mana up, so it could easily be like click. So I could get really punished for playing Palace Jailer here. I think I'm just going to Recruiter and hold up a Plow. What I'm going to Recruiter for is a different question, because I have no idea what the answer to that is. Maybe just Stoneforge, maybe? Probably Flicker Wisp, actually. Walking Ballista seems nuts in this matchup. I think I just want Flicker Wisps. I feel like making my own army of flyers seems pretty strong. Especially when my opponent can't seem to just answer a Mother of Runes. So if my opponent clicks me, we can just plow the click here. Yeah. And then they have a choice between 2 really good cards. I imagine they're going to take the Wisp, though, because their deck is pretty oriented towards being able to combat a Jailer. Not even positive I would play the Jailer next turn. Depends on what my opponent would do. Like, if my opponent just has another flyer, then this Jailer doesn't amount to a lot. We could always, like, take the Monarchy back, and we just both have a Howling Mine. Oh, well, we drew an Aether Vial, so that's shitty. What's up?
Do you want a cat?
No, I'm good. She was over here earlier. Yeah, I don't really know what my opponent's deck might have in it. I think I'm just going to keep blocking the Ninja with the Mom. I could double block and just trade their Recruiter for the Ninja. That might actually be better. Especially because they took my Wisp, so this Recruiter has less meaning on the board. But if my plan is to Palace Jailer, I want to have stuff to attack to take the Monarchy back. Just in case. Ponder, sure. If I can, like, hopefully my opponent, like, taps out for something. I don't know what they would tap out for. I feel like my opponent plays a lot at instant speed. But if I can be safe that my opponent can't flash in a thing, I'll feel a lot safer about jamming a Palace Jailer and then, like, getting a profit off of it. Yeah, they just don't attack anymore. Oh, they're gonna Ninja again. That's pretty good for my Palace Jailer. They do get to draw another card, but then we'll have the board locked down for at least 1 turn. The issue is that my opponent's going to play that flyer again. Real talk, though. Watch out for TNN. I guess TNN combos pretty well with Ninja of the Deep Hours. I'm not sure if you want True Name in your Vendilion Click Cloud of Fairies Fairy Miscreant deck. Well, land's not good. Well, we're going to draw at least 2 cards off this Jailer, most likely. We can attack this Recruiter here. It's pretty free. This Palace Jailer is back to block the Ninja already. I don't know that you want Ninjas in legacy check, but they're exactly. I don't really know what my opponent's plan is, but it exists. My opponent has multiple Ninja of Deep Hours. Yep. So we're gonna get to draw at least 2 cards. And then if my opponent draws a card, we can just keep trading the Monarchy back and forth. And we both draw 2 cards. And I think my opponent's deck is, like, surprisingly underpowered, considering how underpowered D&T usually is. If we draw, like, a creature or an equipment here, it'll just be amazing. Or, like, another Plow. Or a Walking Ballista. It's a good one. I think I'm going to play it for 2 to play around Daze. Already plays around Spellstutter Sprite. I mean, obviously we can't play around Force of Will, but I think we can just jam this Ballista for 2. Opponent's deck is very likely to have something like Daze. And this already gets the Fairy off the table. The worst case is that they do have, like, a Spellstutter here, and I have to trade the Ballista with both, whereas if I played it for 3, I get to keep a Ballista on the table and I just win. Okay, they have Force, which is just a moot point. This actually lets us, like, draw one of our 3 Plows. Still. They're gonna, like, get back a Ninja of Deep Hours, but then I can just keep taking the Monarch back, and we just, like, swap it back and forth and stuff for a little bit. Hopefully we just top deck Swords of Plowshares. So I don't really care if they get a Ninja of Deep Hours back. It's not a huge deal. Ho ho ho! The issue is that my opponent might have Spellstutter.